All right, howdy peeps and peoples. Hope everybody's having a great day. We're here logging on Rockypoint, and we start out. We're right in the middle of logging this job. The pipeline's full. Everything's going good. We're logging along today, and we turn in and do some trouble. I have something going on, Brutus. I don't know what. I'm working at that, and by the time I figure I can start sprinkling a little holy water on that and figure that's fixed. Next thing you know, I have to bum a ride with Junkie and head out there and check on Big Momma. She's got some kind of AC issue going on with the machine out there, and she ends up sticking me with a load of pulp and end up having to bring a load of pulp back and unload it. So let's dive in here and see what's going on. Beautiful little area, but it's kind of a touristy destination down here. That used to be a restaurant that burnt down a couple years ago. And there's all the boat storage and stuff where they store boats and stuff. And there's, ooh, look at that American flag. America! America! So anyways, then they rent out these campers and all that mess. Or they're not rented out, the spots are. I guess it's you gotta bring your own camper. I think that's how it works. But the spots are rented. So once you rent your spot, you can bring your own camper out. We got pretty good rain here Saturday night and Sunday. This is just now Wednesday. We logged yesterday, but Monday there was a water hole. Oh my gosh, there's a big old water hole there. That thing had this whole area drowned in water. And you can see some salt in the road. You can see some salt in some places there yet. It was no catalyte, you know, there's no cow poo and everything else in here. Cow poo. There's some fancy jake brake shit in this soft ground. Oh, they mowed. Property owners is happy with the way things are going, which is good. That's always a concern I got. When you're the guy cutting the trees, you're worried to death about, if you're a good worker, if you're a good man, you're gonna worry to death about how the landowners are looking at everything. And heck, they're liking it. See, it's still wet down here. Underneath the trees, it's wet. Roger yesterday, oh gosh, he spun everywhere he went. Poor Roger. I felt bad for him. I reached down there at one point, he was pulling a wide open. I had some fuzzies in the top to really hold him down. I dragged down there and grabbed a tree and pushed him up the hill. Only because I felt sorry for Roger Dodge. On here, there's a neighbor I got the tree on. Right up there in the corner. That maple tree's marked, but we're coming back for it on our way out. Right across there's where I dropped it. It come from, it wasn't that stump, but it was the next one up. You talk about feeling like an idiot. Comes off the stump and I'm like, dirt. No, what happened? Here's the property line here. Comes up like here, turns, heads that way. Pretty good neighbor there too. Had a comment the other day about, he was asking me, how do you handle grapevines when you're cutting? Well, when you're hand cutting is what he was being more specific. Is that a horsefly on me? But anyways, I don't know how to answer that. You know, you gotta be careful. I mean, you see them on the ground, cut them, but I mean, I don't know how to answer, how do you handle grapevines? You keep your head on a swivel best you can. If you're hand cutting, you get tired, stop. Take a break. If you're ticked off, if you're pissed off, stop. Take a break. Being tired and being angry is the two things that always seem to get me killed, and distractions. That too. Let me tell you something. I've had people argue both ways. Well, this is the way we like to do it. Well, here's how some people like to do it, and it's wrong. I don't care who you are. I don't care what you're used to. It's wrong. If you hand cut and you keep that cable skidder guy right behind you, right on your heels, if he's passing you with drags, you're wrong. I don't care how much you like him or how good a guy he is or how good a skidder man he is. You don't want that guy nowhere around you. The way I always cut timber, I cut backwards when I can. I take along a ditch, 45 down a ditch, throw the skidder behind you. That skidder man, I always called it the man murder, or what I used to call it, the man butcher machine. Something I used to have like an insulting name for it, so everybody get the idea that I don't want that thing around me. Now I was an asshole when I hand cut, and I'll tell you why. Because I wanted to be alive. When you're hand cutting, you kind of gotta. I don't know if you don't need to have a bad attitude, but you don't want anybody bringing man murder. Look at that ball. Look at that ball been rolling around that mud ball rolled around the side of the tire, a rim for a while. But anyways, you want everybody to know that you don't want that man mashing machine around you. Nowhere around you. You cut them and then they pull them out. Now I know some people can't cut like that because they're inexperienced. I know that. So you have to have figured it out for yourself. But I'm telling you, cutting mad, cutting tired, and distractions. That's what, in my mind, that's what gets you. If you can get out there, get your mind clear, and it's just you and the trees. That's part of the love of hand cutting. It's just you and the trees. It's supposed to be a peaceful process. Yeah, it's loud, you're making noise and getting adrenaline going, but it's kind of a zen feeling thing, you know. So how do you handle grapevines? I don't know how to answer that. With all that being said, I don't know how to answer how do you handle grapevines. You look up. If you get in the woods that's full of grapevines, we always took a dozer and went in, cleaned out, swamp out with a dozer. If you're back in the woods ways and your crew's behind you. Now most hand cutting crews, they balance themselves to where they got more cutting power than they do skidding power. Or they park the skidders and get ahead and then skid. But if you get you a skidder or an extra skidder or dozer and you're cutting ahead and your crew's behind you, a lot of good hand cutters used to take a bulldozer and they'd carry their saw and gas on a dozer. So they'd have a little, a little 550 deer, a little 450 deer or something, or cat or anything, and go back there and they'd cut ahead. And then a dozer, they could use a dozer in steep spots. They could pop the trees up to the top of the hill for the skidder or something like that. Pop your trees up the top of the hill, the real bad ones, like so you can jockey around a little bit. If you got time, it's a good practice. And that keeps them, any of the blade work, any of the machine work done around you, you're doing it yourself, so it's hard to kill you when you're on the machine. That's one mentality. There's a lot of ways to do it, but I don't know how you handle a grapevine. I've had close calls with a grapevine. I remember one time we was in a tract of woods. Rich timber, usually it calls for grapevines. I was in a tract of woods cutting big old humongous trees, flat ground, flatter than a flitter. Good deep soil, grapevine growing soil. And I cut a big gum or a poplar or a big red oak, whatever was there in that big tree though. Cut a big tree, cut him loose, backed up into the skid road while I was watching him fall.
and all of a sudden, whop! I could feel a wind off something. I looked down, and a beech tree on the ground come up over my knee, probably mostly to my waist, my hips. That's how big the daggone. It was dead behind me, didn't see it, wasn't paying attention, tired, cutting tired, and landed right beside me. I mean right beside me. And I just picked up all my stuff and I walked out of the woods. That was enough cutting for that day. So I don't know what to tell you on that subject. That's a dangerous subject. There's been a lot of loggers killed by grapevines, a lot of them. What happens on when you're cutting, those of you don't know what they're talking about when you're cutting with grapevines. You cut a tree, you release your tree, the grapevines grow from tree to tree up in there. So the grapevines get up in the canopy when the tree canopies touch, and they lock trees together. So when you're dropping a tree, it can pull branches out of the other tree. Stuff comes raining down on you, which is all dangerous. And then on occasions, if you got a loose tree, a dead snag, I know one, Jim, I know one where the dozer had it up out of the ground, where it's still standing but lodged, and he grabbed a hold of it. Dead snags, loose trees, anything, it could pull the whole tree down on you. And it happens. And it's like a silent killer because all your danger's out in front. And then all of a sudden, something comes from behind you and smashes you flat. God's got to look at it like this. When he's hand cutting, everything out there is meant to smash you flat. That's why you hear me go on about cutter pants. I ain't nuts on cutter. I don't wear cutter pants. We work on the federal once in a while and they'll make us wear cutter pants. So I don't cut when they're around. You know what I mean? Brutus, he come with these fine cutter pants. Look at the stitching. It's good stitches, good cutter pants. I think there's a few, if you look, there's been a few, I think I've nicked it a couple times with a chainsaw. And it's like it don't bother it at all. Look at that. Grapevines even get the best of Brutus. Look at that. Brutus is wound up in one. I better get that out of there because that little John Deere switch is in there that tells you from side to side, tweaking, twerking, tweaking. Twerk, twerk, twerk. But anyways, yeah, so that's the cutter pants I wear now. And I highly recommend, anybody out there that's just on the phone with a guy the other day from Kentucky, I highly recommend getting a pair of steel cutter pants. Highly recommend it to all loggers out there cutting. Cutter pants. Steve is getting set up. They're skidding that in first, which I told them probably didn't want to do, but I guess that's what they wanted to do. Because they're coming from this end first. Here's a crossing up for Raji. You're gonna skid all of them that way. Stevie's just trying to clean up. That's what he's doing. Junkie's loading and he's heading up the hill there, heading out. And we are 3/4 of a mile back here. We're a ways back here. The pile of walnut over there is veneer candidates, which no, I don't think they are. This one closest to me, I think, can make a 10-footer if the shake cleans up. I kind of doubt it. Here's what's going on. I'm on the other side of the ditch, and the ditch is running just down there on the bottom on my side of Roger. You see Roger Skidder coming through there in a second. He's crossing that ditch crossing I was parked by down there. And I'm up on this steep little hill. It don't look steep on the camera, but it's short. It's real short and steep. Heck, it ain't 3 times as tall as Brutus is. But it's just enough to be aggravating because you're going to lose the tops down over the hill and then have to deal with them because I'm topping for myself. So here, like on this beech tree, I'm pulling it up above so I can top it from up above. But it's aggravating to pull him up above. And also, I covered up some trees I had laid out down there. And I'm in this little ditch leaning, so it's leaning 2 different ways, and it's kind of awkward to get what I need done. And Brutus is getting the fumble fingers. I tell you, you get a tree locked into this head right, and you'd be surprised what you could pull with this thing.
But till you get it locked in just right, it just slips and fumbles and farts around and falls out of the head. Look how many epidormics is on them damn beech trees. Beeches are aggravating. Beeches, maple, pin oak, stuff like that just gets aggravating with them little bitty limbs. And there's Roger down below me skidding across the Stevie and junking in. About where his tree is right there, that's where we was parked a little bit ago when I was yakking. Now I got him locked in. Nope, slipped out again. I tell you, I'm going to do a few things this head. I'm going to continue to modify. I love this Quadco head. I really like the Quadco head. But I'm going to do some modifications for shoveling. Shoveling's, and you can ask Quadco, they make 2900. A lot of the loggers, that's a lot of the talk between different mentality loggers, you know, where where you go the hot saw or you go the 2900 intermittent. You know, and I like the hot saw. I'm a hot saw guy. I like the hot saw. And, yeah, there's things that are, you know, there's things that'd be better on the intermittent and stuff like that. I understand. But, and like shoveling, it's one of the big things intermittents are good for. But me, I just love the hot saw. Hot saw is my thing. And once in a while, I get caught my pants down. I have to let a saw build up. But for the most part, I can do multiple different tasks, and the head can build up while I'm shoveling. You know, and then turn around and cut one. That's a nice little white oak tree. Kind of awkward. It's just kind of sitting awkward. You know, this whole... I pulled a little bit of sliver off the side of that thing. I tell you, I get in these nasty laying spots, and sometimes I don't get a clean cut job. Well, quite a lot of the times I don't get a clean cut job on bigger timber. So I cheat as much as I can and try to slide off the stump and stuff and do what I can to clean them up. But I think my teeth are a little dull. The way it's acting is just a little dull. Did talk to Lauren the other day. It's 2 jobs after this one. But I'm doing the editing on this job. See, my editing is about 2 months behind. You know, what you're seeing happened about 2 months ago, or longer. Heck, it could be longer than what I'm editing. Right now, I think this bitch is like 3rd week of July, maybe, and y'all probably ain't gonna see it till up into August. And yeah, I say 2nd or 3rd week of July is when I made this video, you know. And then I'm editing. Heck, it's up into August when I'm editing this, and I don't know when y'all will see this. Probably closer to September. But anyways, talked to Lauren, a good rep from Quadco, and he said, me and him had a good conversation about. He said, "I tell you what," he said, "I might come by someday and then stop and tune that head in." I said, "If you would do that," I said, "I'll tell you what," I said, "I'm real bashful and awkward about trying to get people on the video, but I said, it would be cool if I could record you, make a little video together, tune this head up and stuff." He said, "Yeah," he said, "if your head ain't quite right," he said, "I'm not bashful. Heck," Lauren said, "I was on the Swamp Loggers once. On the episode, I think they put a great big Quadco head on Bobby's Tiger Cat, on Smetrio's Tiger Cat." And he said, "I wasn't bashful on that." He said that was actually a pretty good time. So I think I'm going to get him to, and try to do a little plug for Quadco. I'm really proud of Quadco. I like Quadco. They're not paying me to say that. It's nothing like that. I just really like my Quadco. They're heavy duty. Now, I like a Tiger Cat head too, don't get me wrong. Werner's Tiger Cat heads, I was really impressed with them too. But I'm not big on the Wartaw head for what we're doing. I think they're light, so they might have good performance for smaller wood, but we're doing big wood. We got to have a heavy duty head. that's got metal in it, and it's got a lot of bracing and gussets and fish plates and stuff where it belongs, and heavy pins, and you know, thickness, you know, that sort of thing. Well, okay, so here's what's going on. I'll give you all a quick tour. Working along this line, and it runs right through there, and right, uh-oh, somebody had a spill. But then, throwing the butts behind me, it probably don't look it on camera, but that's a daggone little hole down there now. And Raji is dragging it backwards to Stevie. They got their cable set up going backwards towards the boom. Junkyard's loading and heading up that hill, heading on up. And I'd say I'm gonna cut maybe to that next hilltop about where Stevie's at, straight across heading to the line. And then I'm gonna turn around and start throwing the tops this way. Because all these butts, Roger's dragging down over that hill, down around to Stevie, and then up there, hell, up there we got a crossing. It's heading on back to property. So we're gonna cut them down this way and take them around that way. I know we got an extra ditch crossing, but it's a long ways around, and we had to get some trees way down there. So we got a ditch crossing there on wood. We'll have to pull back out. And then we'll have a ditch crossing up there, way past Stevie up there for Tiny. The heading on back to the back of the property. Alright, I got a little eek on Brutus. Let me get in here where I'll set you all up and we can hang out and we can fix an eek together. You ever want to fix an eek together? Like being friends? We could be friends and fix an eek together. Where's it at? Right there? About center screen? Got a little grease on the camera? Watch your grease there. Wipe your mouth off. I had a little nut come loose. Oh yeah, Brutus, that's how you're gonna be. It's these cheap Pittsburgh wrenches too. That don't help none. These ain't Pittsburgh. Oh, they aren't Pittsburgh. Okay. Let's see if I can get there and really put some oomph behind it. Exchanged out for a real hammer. Bastard. Can't get in here straight on it. Ooh. I can give me a cheater wrench on this one though. Bam! That's what I'm talking about. What is he talking about? Hydraulics. Cause I'm betting now this here fitting, those of you that's interested, this here fitting is a face fitting. That's flat face. And that O-ring's good. But this one down here, yeah, see, it was tight. Yep. O-ring got eroded. If these Boss O-rings go to leaking, you got to change them because they're going to erode. They erode. Now I'll show you here in just a second. Well, Ben, now this here might be leaking. Well, I'm talking, but I ain't showing. This here might be the leak. I don't think it is though. I think it's the I don't have any brake clean on me. Now what's going on here is things aren't jiving for me. I can't figure out what is going on here. I don't know if the fitting's got a crack in it or what, but the O-rings look fine and I can't make peace with this. Well, I come back to this later, maybe in the next video, but something's up and the stuff don't smell right.
No, they're just hard. I don't see erosion in either one of them. Usually see a piece of erosion in them. Yeah, I'm sure. I need brake cleans, what I need to clean these fittings off, but this is all I got. Too small. Just right. Sometimes these face O-rings can be a turd to get on there. And the trick is to roll it in there. Make sure you have no trash in the journal. Once you get it in there, I kind of roll my finger around on it. There you go. And make sure and get it underneath there. There's like a little concave shaped lip on it. There we go. See, because if you screw that nut down too far, you're going to be pushing the O-ring down the threads of the actual shank. And I think that's a bad idea, driver. Shanks a lot. Oh, look how beautiful that is. Oh, it just goes up and down, just quite lovely. All right, we'll take it.
Fucking ball of rust or something in there, probably.
Yeah, just rolling around. Yep.
And poke it back out. About dinner now.
The only reason that we're bringing a truck out here is Junky's being my taxi. Cost-effective taxi. Nothing in the box. Oh, whoa. I need to get you some better cameras. I can still mount better cameras on them sticks. But I need to see what plug-in they are. Fixing up Big Mama. Take one.
Morning, Bubba.
Morning.
How are you today?
Oh, yeah, ready to go, I reckon. Trying to get motivated.
It can be a job.
You guys are hard on us old lazy asses.
Oh, yeah. I told Junkyard he'd be in a hell of a shape when he gets my age. He had to pack the tank and everything over.
I'm like old Harvey Jones. Somebody asked me the other day, said, how you doing? I said, I beat the funeral home out of another day. That's what Harvey Jones said every time. How you doing, Harvey? I beat old Tom Bald out of another day, he said.
Yeah, he lived to be fairly old.
He was old now.
Yeah, he was the case.
Yeah.
Look at this. I forgot that daggone stick. I had a stick stuck down my log trailer last night. Forgot about the son of a buck. By the time I cleaned my trailer off, jumped in the truck, took off, took it around, raked it around here, took it all the way around that circle, went raking it across the daggone parking lot, and all the way over there by the color machine, it finally fell out. Wobbly! Forgot you. I was up on a loader, I got ready to drive off. I thought, oh, there it is, set up on a loader there, by God. Thanks guys for watching. One thing I wanted to say is everybody out there, do be safe. Please, we all got to go home at the end of the night. There's other people relying on us. Let's not forget that. Thanks everybody. Have a good one.
Hey guys and gals, don't forget to go to logaway.com for all your logaway gear. Thanks. How much you pay me to say that?
Man, how much you gonna give?